Mate, my mum was like, as soon as I discovered psychedelics, weight training, downhill. It's like, I'm not as angry anymore, you can't fucking use it. So if you want to stay strong, don't take mushrooms. Yeah.
What's up guys, I'm Jack, welcome to the channel. I have spent my entire life around health, fitness and performance with 15 years in the industry and owning multiple gyms. Spent 10 years as a personal trainer and the last 5 as a health and performance coach. Played an abundance of sport growing up. Through my 20s, I wanted to be as large and in charge as possible. And due to those training styles, I guess you could say today I walk around with a pretty long list of some chronic inflammation and pain and some injuries, some niggles and so forth, which has definitely been put on show and magnified by my more recent love with Jiu Jitsu, which I have been training now for a few years. So when it comes to my relationship with weight training and resistance training, that is something that has definitely evolved and changed as my motivations and reasons behind the actions has changed. So in those circumstances has led me down the path of bodyweight training and I guess gymnastics and calisthenics, which I think is really cool, seeing the popularity of these things growing and just given the accessibility of it for so many people to be able to get into exercise, get off the couch and be able to do things without a gym membership at any time of the day, anywhere in the world with purely just your body weight. What's been amazing to see so far is despite some really impressive bouts and efforts in the gym with big bench presses, squats and deadlifts and so forth, the way that doesn't necessarily translate over into the stability and I suppose necessities with the skill element to be able to control and manage your body weight. So I'm going to be catching up with Luke Wadsworth today, who represented Australia in the Commonwealth Games for gymnastics, to go over some skills to see where I'm at, given that I only just started this journey. So it's very humbling. I'm very bad at it and you'll get to see that, but hopefully we pick up some tips and tricks from him and give you some insights into how perhaps you can implement some of these movements into your training with the intention to not only get stronger and improve my jiu-jitsu, but also to eliminate some pain, improve mobility and posture and so forth. Either way, guys, check it out.
And then we'll do a little bit of planche and handstand stuff again to see where your shapes are and what you're sort of pushing.
Yep.
And then we'll jump on the rings and just go through and play around some skills.
Yeah, I found I've been probably getting like maybe to there.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, but I do feel like I'm about to snap my bicep tendon. So there's probably a combination of technique and weakness.
Yeah. How's your false grip stuff? You've been doing much false grip stuff?
Mate, I've literally done it for the first time last week. I probably only ever got my first muscle up on a ring.
Yeah, cool.
Probably a week ago.
Yeah. And same thing, like that efficiency, like obviously your chin up and dip, I'm guessing will be pretty strong. So just getting that efficiency to roll through that transition phase. So if you can do a ring pull up and a ring dip, it's getting that just efficient through that roll. And I reckon muscle up should be pretty simple. Yeah. And once you do muscle up, that same movement transfers into like roll muscle up and roll up to handstand, roll back down. Like it's all the same movement, shoulders and hips, weight transfer. So
let's have a play then.
Let's get started.
All right.
Start back jogging. Your knees fine to jog and...
Oh yeah, nah, it's sweet. I'm back rolling and everything properly.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was like, well, I wasn't want to like push anything, so...
Mate, this will be such a nice floor for backflips.
Yep, 100%. When was the last time you did a backflip?
I pulled one out a while ago just to see if I could still do it after surgery.
Yep.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So we'll...
Have you still got that explosive power?
I've still got that.
Yeah. Shuffling to the side, we're just going to jump into front support, everything shoulder width apart, and then you're just trying to keep neutral, tapping those shoulders. So you want to feel like you're not rotating your hips, so just keep this as stable as you can for 8 shoulder taps. How are your wrists doing generally?
A little bit sore.
Yeah. So people we find when people get back into gymnastics, kind of that wrist fatigue will be pretty early, and you'll get adapted. So as we go through the session, we'll just let us know, try to stretch out as much as you need.
At the end, just using the parallels is a bit more forgiving.
Yeah, definitely. So all our planche stuff will be done on parallels, like you can see. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Try not to rotate at all through that bit. Yeah, that's right. There, you're going to push back. You want to feel like you're coming up as high as you can into that like handstand position. Roll back into that planche. Roll back up into that A-frame. So plank to A-frame 5 times. Feel like you're pushing a little bit through your shoulders, tummy coming in 5 times. Yep. Keep kind of looking at your fingertips. as you push back. Beautiful. Nice, sitting down into our straddle, get some range. So about that 90 degrees, just gonna alternate side to side. Trying to keep those legs straight, chest down towards that knee. Where you find your flexibility struggling the most, like hips, adductors, hammies, or...
Abductors?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hammies aren't too bad.
Yeah.
Still feeling a little bit tight through the quad, which is probably a result of the knee.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
But it's all getting a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, because your bike stuff looks alright, so we'll see how...
Hammies aren't bad.
Yeah.
Hammies are pretty good.
How's your active stuff? So I'm going to do some active stuff here. So again, it might cramp up your hip if you haven't done it in a while, but it's having your hands over your knee and just lifting up for 5 times. Trying to feel that active. 2, 3, 4.
A little bit.
Yep. See how it goes on the other side. See if they're even. 2, 3, 4. And then just reaching forwards. Try to get back nice and straight with that chest. 5 times. Yep. That's all right. So just checking some movement stuff. And then we'll finish with our kind of passive stretching.
Yeah, as soon as they come out wide.
Yeah. So then go together. We'll have a look at the difference. 5 times reaching forwards. Yes, that's not bad. And then you're gonna lie down, keep that back, knees in, back nice and straight. You're just gonna do like around the world, trying to push those shoulders through. Just gonna get 4 each side. Just trying to open up through that shoulder, hand kind of brushing the floor. How's that feel through that rotation?
Good.
Do any split stuff, mate?
I would. That's one of the goals. I want to be able to do the splits.
Yeah, so just gonna check where we are now. So from there, trying to keep your hips nice and square, and then alternating down for about 10 seconds. And where do you feel it the most? Front leg, back leg?
Front leg.
Yeah. 6, 5. Check it out a little bit. Get some little knee circles if you need. Grab a quick drink. We'll get some shoulder activation. How have your shoulders been?
I've always been pretty tight through the shoulders again, just from all those years of pressing and stuff. But it's just cool being at the beginning of something.
Yeah.
Where, you know, historically I probably would have bagged stretching.
Yeah.
And just been like, oh, it's a myth, you know,
Yeah,
range of motion's governed by strength, which
Yeah.
is true to a degree, but
Yeah.
you can't deny you guys, dancers,
Yeah.
all these people, it's like, well, they're fucking flexible, and what do? They stretch.
Yeah, they stretch, yeah.
And now that I live with a bit of pain
Yeah.
and have, like, flexibility is like the biggest performance enhancing drug
Yeah.
for Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm now really motivated by flexibility.
I reckon that's the only reason why Seb's good. He's just so flexible, man.
It's a huge advantage. Huge advantage.
The key for most people is you just got to have that strength or the ability to be active through there. So if you're just mobile, like a lot of young dancers, they've got no control in that movement.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that's going to be useless, especially for something like Jiu Jitsu. Like you're still going to get injured. But
Yeah.
people like Seb that can actively lift and hold and control.
It's just his hip flexor range and hamstrings, like to just go to the floor to get his back. It's hard work.
All right. Real basic stuff. So again, this is some like after the session, I'll write you up a bit of a program stuff that I think you need to look at. You can add into your program if we feel like we need it. So trying to keep your elbows at 90 degrees, so you're fully resting on the block, and then just like controlling it down face as much rotation as you can, and then driving up, nice and slow, trying to get as much range as you can for that position.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go 6. Same thing with your hammer grip for 6. And then for this one, you want to let your wrists naturally rotate the way. So everyone tries to go straight up. You actually want to go a little bit out to the side for that one.
Okay.
Just get that 6 each side. And just nice and easy warm up for our wrists. And it shouldn't be too heavy. It should be like pretty easy to do. And over time, you can slowly build up. Are you doing any sort of wrist or elbow rehab conditioning prehab at the moment, or?
I've been playing around with just because that right bicep tendon's a bit sore.
Yep.
Just with a I forget what they're actually called. You know the bells that you swing.
Oh yeah.
So I hold it just
Yep.
and just trying to do
Yeah.
rotation work and develop
cool.
a bit of
Yep.
strength back there.
Yeah, we do it like kind of like with a stick and a leg
Yeah,
weight.
same thing.
So like those.
That's basically what I've been doing.
Yeah, cool. Sweet. All right, let's start some skill work. So we'll finish with our stretching stuff, and then if we feel like that's the most important part, we'll add that kind of more into our warm-up and go from there. So this is kind of like for your planche leans, but this is also really going to be your handstand balance point. So it's a good one to warm up before you start planche as well. You want to be about in the middle of the P-bars, looking at your hands, and then you're going to go shoulders forwards, then you want to push off your feet, off, and then back to the wall. Shoulders forward, slide, push, and back. So ideally, the movement comes from you pushing backwards, and because you've counterweighted your feet, they should rise up a little bit, and you're trying to catch that handstand and then go back to the wall. You're gonna try 5 of those. Now don't stress for the first one if your feet don't come off the wall at all. Just focus on the shoulder movement without trying to move your midsection.
So
From there, you're gonna go shoulders forwards, you're gonna slide down, keeping that shape. Good, and then you're gonna push back and then catch that handstand. Perfect, then back, good. We're just gonna do like, let's go 4 of them. Good. Then you can get like a little bit lower in that planche position. And push. Yeah, that's it. Good. That's it. One more. Nice. Good. How's that width? You can adjust the width as well.
yeah, I didn't mind it. Maybe a tiny bit wider.
Yep. Cool. That's something you can play around with. Like, so for me, on rings, I always have my like really close for planche, but on P-bars, I actually prefer it a bit wider because you don't have to worry about squeezing in. So for me, I always go kind of, as a general kind of shoulder width and kind of 2-3 fingers.
Yep.
You're going to be a little bit wider than me, but again, where you feel comfortable. How'd you feel like when you went to planche? You feel like you'd have a little bit of control of that feet or not much?
On a couple, 1 or 2 felt good.
Like the second one for me looked really good. The third one, so.
Yeah.
Over to the Swiss ball. This one's simply just warming up more through that horizontal planche position. So feet on the Swiss ball. You're going to be rolling back, keeping your hollow shape, and then pulling the bars forwards through into that planche, and then pushing back. And if that feels easy for the first, like 1 or 2, then on the, because you're gonna do 4 in total, on the second 2, you're gonna roll back, bring that knee in, almost feel like you can get off the ball, roll back in, knee comes in, off the planche. Okay? So 2 straight, and then we'll go 2 alternate the legs. And see if you can keep your midline directly in that horizontal plane.
How's that look for that?
Give this up a little bit more in there. Yep. Yep. And then go back. Just there's good. And then rolling shoulders forwards, keeping that shape. Yeah, good. So yeah, no more than that. And then go back. Cool. Shape's pretty nice. Now this is the most common thing that people struggle with when they start doing planche stuff, is activate. If you want to do a straddle planche especially, is getting this like activation through these hips to squeeze here. So
yeah, I've been feeling that like cramp in the glute med, sort of hips straight away.
So we want to go from here, having your hips off the block, I'll hold the end, and then you're just trying to drive up and squeeze and come back down. Now, the problem is, you're going to want to drive until there's like a really big arch.
Yep.
You are going to open up naturally, but you want to try to get to a point before it dumps to that lower back, so you can just be past, kind of using your glutes and keeping this as flat as you can. Because most people end up kind of doing this weird, like here.
Like a reverse hyper.
Yeah, and that's going to be too much for the plane. You're not going to be able to hold that in a planche because you want to be as neutral as you can. So it's more of an opening than a lift.
So are you shifting your hips back a little bit off the corner to try and stop that?
Yeah. And you're just going to lift up and like as wide as you can. You're thinking actively lift open.
Where were my hands?
I hold kind of the outside. If you can reach the end, reach the end. But yeah, just kind of there. I'll hold this up. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. And you want to feel like as wide as you can. You're going to do 5 with like a 2-second pause. Okay, that width's actually not too bad. 2. 3. Good. 2 more. More. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
But it's weak.
Yeah.
I can feel super weak there, yeah.
And that's most people build up, they get like really strong, and especially like tuck planche, because most people start in a tuck planche. And they're like, fuck, I feel pretty good. And they try straddle planche and they just end up like in this weird, like this shape.
Yeah.
Because they have no ability to get flat and open. So you want to start that kind of early as you can. You can even do it on the ground for warm up. So if you don't have a box, just from here and then just trying to lift. It's pretty hard. So we're going to transfer, kind of mixing those 2 together from the wall. You'll have to get used to where your sort of hand position will be. So you want to start like for the first one pretty far away and then move in if you can. From that handstand, opening up as wide as you can for that straddle and then just going down like a planche. So from there, opening up as wide as you can and then keeping this horizontal so you don't want to tilt the hips, lock, hips squeezed, and then pause.
Okay, and then just going back to the ground?
Just the ground, yeah. So just a negative. You want to feel like how wide you can activate your hips. So it's a little bit of trial and error until you know your distance.
Yeah, I might just give that a little bit.
Yeah. And And it should feel pretty easy to start when you start that handstand. You'll be like, oh, I'm pretty comfortable. And obviously as you counterbalance, trying to hit this flat shape.
So here?
Yep, wide as you can, good. And then don't let this angle change. Lower your feet, shoulders go forwards at the same rate. Let them kind of slide, let them kind of slide, let them kind of slide. A little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Yeah, so you're probably further away. Close, close, close. So I'll show you.
So what was I doing?
You're a little bit higher, so you can probably have your hands a bit further away. You want to feel like you hit the checkpoint where shoulders and legs are exactly the same level.
Hands?
Probably have your hands a slight bit forwards. Because we don't want to overload your shoulders to start.
Yep.
So even if it's a bit easy. Yeah, so that's perfect. And then keep that shape. Let your legs slide forwards. A little bit lower with the toes, a little bit lower, and then push back and hold. Yep. And there it is. Yep. Yep. Pretty good. But as I said, I haven't seen you train in 2 to 3 years, so we want to see how we're going.
Probably more, man. Time's gone quick, hasn't it?
I know, yeah.
It's probably more like 5.
Yeah, COVID just disappears for me, so just don't even count it. Now, a lot of people, you do these in your single leg planche, but what we're trying to work today is this straddle, because that's going to be your first kind of position for most people.
Do you think a straddle is easier than a knee tuck?
It really depends on how well you can actively.
Yeah.
I find it way easier. Like used to be able to hold a straddle planche for like 30, 40 seconds.
Because the ultimate's leg straight, yeah?
Straight, yeah.
Yeah.
So a good mix of like doing both is definitely useful. It's going to help that shape. This one you can kind of get a bit stuck though, because you can really get in and you can kind of get in this extra hollow counterbalance. It's the same thing when you planche, you really want to feel like slightly round, but essentially dead straight.
Yep.
Whereas this really, like this knee in really helps create that extra hollow.
And I really feel like it's my ass that's weak.
Yeah.
I can hold the hollow quite well,
that glute med.
but it's to hold that and then have the strength to lift the leg is so foreign.
Yeah. You want to feel like you get into that tuck planche position, so I'm in the hips, and then you're trying to extend the legs out, lean forwards, and get to that position, and come back in. Forwards and out, and back in.
Okay, so I'm starting in tuck.
Tuck, yep.
I don't know if I can even do that.
Yep, and try to extend out.
Nope.
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah. Shuffle the parallels back a little bit.
This way?
Yep, yeah, towards the uprights, so you don't have to, the band will kind of help you a little bit more. And then think, that was better, that was better, that was better. Yep, that's it, good, yep. So go one more, get a slightly heavier band. That last one was better though. I think hit that horizontal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good. Rest.
Wait.
Muscle up stuff on rings. You said you kind of made one. Have you done many drills for it, or you just kind of like
Just
brute forced it?
Taught myself from on the bars, can do bars, no problem. Yep. But I feel like bars are cheating a little bit. Yeah. You know, it's quite easy to just swing and use that rigid bar to work around.
Kind of from the basics, and then we'll move our way through. So first drill, people get false grip or over grip different ways. I think of just kind of get my wrist on like a karate chop, and then hold still thumb under, but try to get that. So like the ring's like almost on my wrist there, and then that's easy to keep it. So then that's my position. I want to feel like I'm pulling the rings down, and then I sit up over and look down into that dip position. So I want to feel like I'm going like over the rings. And you're gonna try like 3 of those. So pull, compress, You know, like a little pull-up kind of to 90, and then L-sit through, then you're gonna drop your shoulders down, go as low as you feel comfortable, and then you pull back through into that chin up, back down. Smooth.
So chin up first?
Yeah, small chin up, and then start that L-lift. Easy, man, good. So 2. Next one I'm gonna try is a lever swing. So this is, again, good for levers and for muscle up. You're trying to pull up into this chin up, and now it's really weird to start. The first one's gonna be hard. What you're trying to do is drive through your core, toes go forwards, then you're gonna push your shoulders back, and then you bring them back to a chin up. So as your feet go up, you're in a front lever, you go to a chin up. So it looks, starting from that dead hang, you don't need much over grip. Pulling up from here, and it goes like from here, back, forwards, back, forwards. If you do it right, it won't be very hard. If you do it wrong, it's gonna be very hard. So
starting in a chin?
Starting in a chin up, and then feet go forwards to the lever, and then back. Hips up a bit higher, and keep it kind of moving, That's it, back. That's it. Cool, nice.
That's better than I expected.
That was pretty good, pretty good. I'm gonna do a muscle, I'm gonna spot a muscle up. And what you wanna try to get as much over grip as you can, we'll build a mat if we want. When you watch my efficiency for the muscle up, I want to feel like I'm pulling slightly backwards with my shoulders, slightly forwards. So that's my kind of pull phase. So then as I'm rising, I get to this, I'm almost at 90. From 90, I'm still pulling down, but then I'm transitioning my shoulders forwards, hips back into a dip.
Yeah.
It's not just pull as hard as you can and then somehow move around and then dip. It's like here, even the strict muscle up is going to have kind of a hollow movement to it.
That's the bit I'm really struggling with at the moment, is just that skill part element of it.
That transition phase. And I think if you can just visualize it a few times, it's kind of like from here, forwards, push. So then from there, it's my shoulders back, shoulders forwards. And it feels like the rings go like here, around.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Rest. Cool. Rest. How'd it feel?
Yeah, just lacking a little bit. I tried that sternum.
If you
Need
feel
to
like
get them higher earlier.
high them earlier, so you want to feel like from here, so then as you transition, it's naturally rolling with you.
Yeah.
Whereas your feet are coming up through that transition, your feet are trying to kick you back for like a backflip.
True.
So, because you kind of roll like this.
After.
Yeah. And that comes up, as it's coming up, you're like doing good with your top half, but your feet are actually going the wrong way for where you want to be.
Yep.
They want to already be there and then roll with that position.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of, it's a little bit more feet up, and then as you're transitioning, your feet actually, tummy comes in a bit.
Yep.
Just a little bit. Yeah, that looked better. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, they're still flapping around a bit.
Yeah, so there's a little bit too much movement, but this is way better. So this is right. So then if you can just like feel like you just do less, let your shoulders kind of roll more than your feet.
Yeah.
But at least these came up at the start. Yeah, so let's just be like I would work on some of these. So if you walk to these rings, so you full hang, you're doing the right movement, it's just too much. So then as you get here.
Because I'm so used to doing pull-ups like this.
Then you're up to too much, yeah.
You complete opposite directions,
Yeah.
the chest up.
It's got to be like a gymnastic style hollow one. And just like think, just like that hollow shape on the ground, just from a neutral to hollow, neutral to hollow. Too much. Yep, and then back down to neutral, so let your hips relax a bit. Yep, and then pull through that shape. Yeah, that's it, that's it. One more. Yeah, cool, nice rest. Yep, that's better. So what's happening is like when you did the first one, you started good, but then you came too much, you kept going. So it should be like to here, and then you roll with that shape, and that shape kind of stays.
Yeah, I feel like I'm lacking like strength in this range.
Yeah.
Just that sort of 2-3 inches.
Yeah.
Which is kind of everything.
It's kind of the style.
Kind of everything, yeah.
I'll exaggerate a bit, but watch where my hips go. So I'm going from kind of this L tuck sit, and then they go from here, and then I look up, bring the rings in, I'm aiming for there.
Okay.
So what everyone does is aim for vertical.
Yeah, I have tried, and that's what happened.
Yeah, yep. And you're gonna bend your arms, hips rise up, bend them way more.
Oh.
Good, so from here, get like way lower. Like you wanna be like your head like through.
So keep the legs low to find that position?
Keep the legs low and get your shoulders much lower. Because this P-bar one's high, this one like your shoulders gonna be like under the rings almost. Yeah, and then there. Yeah, and then rise up and keep them there. No higher than that. That's it. And then start to extend. Yep, good. Let's go about there. There you go. That's it. That's it, that's better, that's better. That's good.
Yeah, cool.
That's better. And then when you get there, so when you start to feel like you're balanced, because you're gonna naturally come into this shape, you actually want to kind of feel balanced, and then like hips down, head up a little bit. And that'll kind of lock you in the shape.
Might stop you from flipping over too.
Because when you're hollow and down, your body will always like get ready for the roll.
Yep.
Once you start to feel like you're almost at the balance point, it's like hips down, head up. But that was it. That was the balance point that you want.
Tell you what, you get we've been doing obviously a lot of different shit, so it's not as noticeable today, but even just over the last sort of month as I've been getting into this, I've been very surprised by the intensity of like a pump.
Yeah.
That you get just from the isometrics.
Yeah, because you got to think like everything you're doing, you're so engaged. So like every skill, like you can't. Everyone thinks like, oh, I'm doing like a shoulder stamp. Like
everything's tense.
Switched on.
Yeah, there's nothing isolated about it.
So even handstand stuff that you think is like a basic skill, like you're so switched on everywhere. And as you get better, you'll start to be able to feel like, we just say you're tight, not tense. Because when everyone starts, like they're like just like everything's, it's so hard to control.
Yeah.
Because your body's not used to it. Like rings, like they can move any direction, right? Once you get better, you're gonna be tight but not tense, and that's where the efficiency comes from. But yeah, when you start, it's.
I know exactly what you mean. This is where I feel like so much of this is similar to Jiu Jitsu. It's like when you start out, you're trying to, take everyone's body apart, and you're exhausted in 30 seconds, and learning how to just surf with it.
Yeah, and switch on, be in control, but not have to be like tense every single movement you make. So that's why we're trying to, like, when you learn like those skin the cats, those lever swings, like just trying to feel like through that swing part, you're just engaged, you're tight, but you're not actually doing much strength. And then when you hit that checkpoint, engage, back to chin, engage.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're in the right spot, it shouldn't be that heavy, right?
No, exactly right,
Yeah.
Same as even like planche, like your shoulders are far forward. If you can hit that right spot and checkpoint, it'll get to a point where it locks, same as cross.
Yeah.
Like here's it's so hard to hold there. Once you can find a place where you can sit in it.
See, that's interesting, because I can get to there, but then I'm too scared to go any further because I feel the bicep tendon starting to squeal.
Yeah. So you'd be right at that checkpoint, which is like, it's that hard point, it's that last 3 months of going like, this is pure strength, right? You're essentially pushing down as hard as you can.
Yeah.
When you get to a point, it just locks and you don't feel like you're having to push down. You kind of just like sit into it.
Yeah, if I do one on here.
Yeah.
Okay, I will push back up, but I don't want to do it tired,
That's pretty good. So we'll have like a whole session, because as I said, today we're looking through all the skills. So this will be a lot to do. This is probably like a week that you spread it out into for all the skills that we're doing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how do gymnasts kind of program their training? So obviously there's got to be some strength element, there's got to be a flexibility element. And the skill element. How do you kind of break up your training?
So our training's always quite long. So we'll do like a 3 to 4 hour session if you're including apparatus and stuff.
Yeah, wow.
And the first 40 minutes is all body conditioning. So we'll do range of motion, but like dynamic stuff. So similar, we're always moving, trying to get everything warmed up. And then we'll do some body prep. So whether that's shoulder rehab, handstand work, compression, so stuff you're gonna need. Then the bulk of the session is skill work, so on the apparatus, but we do 6 apparatus, a session only do 3, just because you can't fit in all 6. And then we'll spend 30 to 45 minutes doing strength. And that'll alternate between like a loading day and a specific. So we'll do like a rings, just all ring strength for one day. And then you might do loading. So whether that's upper or lower, then you'll do like a P-bar specific, and then you'll do the other side loading. Everyone says, do you still change gymnastics? I'm like, I do a little bit, but I find it really just demotivating because I'm nowhere near as when I competed, obviously. So to do stuff, I'm just like, it's not as fun.
That's kind of how I feel in the gym. It's like, I know I've done these, good things in terms of like impressive strength bouts. And there's so many factors that I know I'm never going to be there again. Whether it be I'm not willing to do the things to my body that it takes to get back there, along with having the pain and the injuries, and just I don't have the mental drive to do it. It's not going to happen. So it
especially
becomes.
When you like say yourself and say in gymnastics, like if you've hit that kind of elite level, it requires so much to get there, and it's like I don't want to I'm like running now, I'm cycling, I'm swimming, like I'm not 100% into that. So if I'm training by myself, I just find it just a bit demotivating. I'm like, well, like, is it worth it? When I'm training with someone else, it's like, there's still value in doing it, and I still want to be strong in those movements. But it's just hard by myself, so.
Mate, my mum was like, as soon as I discovered psychedelics, weight training, downhill. It's like, I'm not as angry anymore, you can't fucking use it. So if you want to stay strong, don't take mushrooms.
Me, I wanted to travel, I want to hang out with mates, and that's something that I had sacrificed for so long. And I got to the point I was like, I'm happy with what I achieved and happy with that, and now it's time to experience the rest of life.
Mate, but this place is sick. You've done a really good job.
Yeah, so we're pretty happy with it. There's still always some things we're trying to tweak here and there. But yeah, it's coming along to a point that's nice.
Well, if you're in Melbourne, guys, come check out Peak Training here in Balaclava and do some gymnastics.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, bro. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Absolutely.